Tony, already off to an excellent start, hitting .367, but then what else is new?
Not that long ago, hitting 300 in Major League Baseball meant you were elite. It was the number every hitter chased, the benchmark that separated the great from the average. But something has happened to that number, because right now, only 7 qualified hitters hit 300 or better in 2025, the fewest since there were 6 in 1968. 6 hitters in 1968, the most infamous year for pitching dominance in baseball history, and we just matched it. So the question isn't whether 300 is getting harder to hit, it clearly is. The question is, has 300 become what 400 once was? Legendary, almost unreachable, and disappearing forever. For most of baseball history, the hierarchy was simple. Hit 250, you're average. Hit 300, you're elite. Hit 400, you're a legend. But that hierarchy has collapsed. The league-wide batting average has been below 250 5 times in the past 6 seasons. Before that, the last time it was under 250 was 1972. The entire floor of hitting has dropped, and 300 has fallen with it. To understand how dramatic this is, you have to go back to the last time a number felt this unreachable. September 28, 1941, Philadelphia, a doubleheader.
All eyes are on this man, Ted Williams, gunning for a 400 season. He's hitting at even 400. I think if I were Ted, I would sit out today, but Ted never backed into anything. Here's the pitch to Williams. Line drive, base hit. Ted Williams has a hit in his first at bat. Second game of the doubleheader. Williams, a line drive, blue darter. It hits the horn in right field, and Ted has himself a double.
If I'm going to be a 400 hitter, he said, I want more than my toenails on the line. He went 6 for 8 that day and finished at 406, and nobody has hit 400 since. Since Williams hit 406, only Rod Carew, 388 in 1977, George Brett, 390 in 1980, and Tony Gwynn, 394 in 1994, have come within 12 points of the mark. The closest modern run came from Gwynn in 1994, and even he fell short. The season ended early due to a player's strike. Gwynn was on a 14-game hitting streak when the season stopped, and scouts believed he was still climbing. We'll never know if he could have done it, because after that, 400 became myth, a number people stopped chasing because it felt impossible. But while 400 faded away, 300 remained the standard. For generations, hitting 300 wasn't rare, it was the expectation for greatness. In the year 2000, 63 players hit over 300 and 29 players hit over 320 in a single season. Think about that number, 63 players. If you were a good enough hitter in that era, you hit 300. It wasn't a milestone, it was a baseline. But look at what happened next. By 2003, that number had dropped to 40. By 2013, it was 24, and in recent seasons, just 9. From 63 to 9 in roughly 25 years. In 2000, when the league-wide batting average was 270, more than a third of all qualified batters hit 300. Today, it's down to 6.4%. 1/3 of hitters. First, pitching got dramatically better. As we covered in our last video, pitchers today throw faster and their pitchers have more movement than ever. Starting pitchers are pulled sooner, almost an entire inning earlier on average than a decade ago. Because every team now has a bullpen filled with relievers throwing in the high 90s, if not triple digits. Hitters used to be able to time a starter as the game went on, and by the third at bat, they had seen his pitches enough to adjust. Now, before they figure him out, he's gone, replaced by someone throwing harder. Second, hitters changed their approach. In the mid-2010s, analytics introduced something called launch angle theory. The idea was simple. Hit the ball in the air, hit it hard, hit home runs, because home runs are worth more than singles. The rate of home runs per plate appearance has climbed by 50% or more over the past 50 years. But here's the catch. When you try to hit the ball in the air all the time, you swing differently. More uppercut, more aggression, more swing and miss, and batting averages crater. Both reasons are true simultaneously. Increasing velocity and the hitter's approach work together to explain why MLB's batting average has plummeted. So hitters traded batting average for power. Did it work? Sort of. Even as batting average has declined, the number of runs scored per game at 4.47 is still far higher than the 1968 low of 3.42. Batters today are hitting home runs in 3.1% of their plate appearances compared to just 1.7% in 1968. So yes, the power approach created more home runs and more runs, but here's what's interesting. The game still feels like it's in crisis, because hitting 300, the thing fans have used to measure great hitters for over a century, is nearly gone. And the sport is starting to notice. MLB's batting average has slumped to 246 this year, and the number of 300 hitters is at risk of tying, if not breaking, the 1968 record low of 6. We are watching history happen, and it's not the good kind, which is what makes Luis Arraez so fascinating. In a sport that has completely reorganized itself around power, Arraez has never got the memo. From 2022 to 2024, Arraez became the first player in MLB history to win 3 consecutive batting titles with 3 different teams. In an era where nobody hits 300 anymore, he struck out just 21 times in a full season with the best whiff rate in all of baseball at 5.3%. He is a different species, but here's the part that tells you everything about this era. His .292 average in 2025 was actually a career worst. The best contact hitter in baseball, the man who won 3 consecutive batting titles, hit .292. In today's game, that's considered a great year. In 1999, that would have made you below average. The game has changed that dramatically. So let's bring this full circle. 400 became untouchable after 1941, not because hitters stopped being great, but because the game changed around them. Pitching got better, defenses got smarter, and strategies evolved. 400 went from achievable to mythical. Now look at 300. In 2000, more than a third of qualified batters hit 300. Today, it's 6.4%. That's the same trajectory. Different number, same story. 300 didn't disappear because hitters got worse, it disappeared because the game changed around them. In terms of putting the ball in play, there has never been a lower chance at any point in baseball history of getting a base hit than there is right now. Let that sink in. And hitting is harder right now than it has ever been. Baseball has faced this before. In 1968, the last time it got this bad, they lowered the mound. They shrunk the strike zone, they intervened, and offense came back. Right now, baseball is watching the same crisis unfold in slow motion. The 300 hitters are vanishing. The batting average is at historic lows, and the sport hasn't done much about it. Maybe the launch angle era corrects itself. Maybe a new generation of hitters finds a different approach. Maybe baseball steps in the way it did in 1968. Or maybe we're watching 300 go the way of 400, quietly, without anyone fully realizing it until it's already gone. Ted Williams hit .406 in 1941, and we called it legendary. We said nobody would ever do it again, and nobody has. 85 years later, we might be saying the same thing about 300. Not because it's impossible, but because the game made it that way.